Hi guys, Jordan from P&P Campers. Just going to be doing a handover video on this Autocruise Quartet. So it's a bit of an unusual sort of model and layout on this one, but great for sort of families and things. Got like the kind of bunk beds over here. You can make this into a single bed up here, so it's quite a cool little layout. Nice rear bathroom and all that sort of stuff. So what I'll do is I'll just show you around under the bonnet first. We're based on the Peugeot Boxer chassis 2012. And then I'll walk around the outside, show you what we've got around there, and then I'll jump inside and show you through the appliances and stuff as well. So under the bonnet, we've got over on the left hand side is where the majority of the sort of levels and fluids are. So you've got the washer fluid up on the top left hand side, power steering fluid, engine coolant, brake fluid, and your engine oil down here. Your engine oil dipstick is this little yellow one here at the front. Actually on the front here, so this sort of blue colour that you've got going through the entire van here, the paint code for that is 453, and that'll be a Fiat paint number, by the way. So you'll notice it'll be in Italian, because all of the sort of engines and the colours and all that sort of stuff, even the van itself, is basically just a Fiat Ducato. It's exactly the same, but Peugeot and Citroën had their sort of take on it as well, so hence why the paint code is a Fiat number. You've got air conditioning in this one, so you've got some air conditioning information on this little sticker here. Chassis plate is this one just here. Over on the right, we've got your air filter inside this box over here, and your fuses and relays are in this little box here, the engine related stuff. The engine battery sits under the floor in the cab, just in front of the passenger seat. So, if you wanted to jump start the vehicle, instead of having to tear out the whole floor to get to the engine battery, they do give you this nice little hatch just here. So this little terminal just here is actually a positive terminal, and it runs directly to the positive terminal of your engine battery. So if you wanted to jump start the van, you got a positive terminal there and a negative one just here. Now you can use other things for negatives if if that's no good. Sometimes these do get a little bit corroded, which it is a little bit. So if you find that that's not really earthing very well, there are other bits and pieces around that you can earth from. If we open up the passenger door, we've got the bonnet release handle just there. So pull on this handle here, that will release the bonnet. On the sort of B pillar just here, we've got the diesel filling point. So ignition key is used to open that one up there, and that is your diesel filling point. The electric step comes out with this little button just here. You see coming out really nicely with that little switch just there. You actually just press up for both in and out. All right. So you've got the full-size Fiamma F65S awning running across the top of the van, and that literally just winds out with the winder, nice and easy. You've got a couple of legs that will come down from that, and you'll be able to sort of steady it down on the floor wherever you want it to be. Down below the door, we've got this little grey handle here. This is your wastewater drain off point. So if you were to twist this open, all the wastewater from in the tank there would drain out onto the floor from there. You have got a freshwater drain off on the other side as well, which is a blue tap, just exactly the same as that one there. So at the back of the van, if I just open up this little locker here, we have got basically this sort of little locker just here is mainly for storage, but you've also got access to your toilet cassette. So when you come to emptying out the toilet cassette, you want to lift up on the little orange tab just here and then pull the cassette towards you. If you can get it to this position here, it means that you'll be able to take it all the way out and then drain it out. So to actually drain it out, you twist this little yellow or orange part just here around towards you, and you drain it out from this little point here. You unscrew this. When you're physically draining it out, you should be holding down the little orange tab there at the back. And then once you've finished emptying it out, you basically just top it back up with a little bit of your blue fluid, push it all the way back in, and that's it, ready to use again. Nice and easy. So this little pole just here is a centre rafter for the awning, just in case you wondered. In this lower little locker, not much to show you in there apart from just a bit more storage space, and you can probably see from here you've got the bunk beds there. Okay. Right, so on the off side of the van, there's a few more things to sort of point out. So we've got the Truma boiler vent just here. So if you have got the boiler lit up on gas, or if it is working at all, you'll feel hot air coming out through the outside of this. Your electric hookup point is this one just here. So if you do have access to a hookup cable, it does help. It means that your leisure battery will be at full charge, and it also means you'll be able to use any of your mains powered appliances. Freshwater drain off point is that one just down there, the blue one, as I said, on the other side. And then we've got your freshwater filling point. So you basically press in and round to the left when it's unlocked, and it'll come out in your hand, and that's where you would fill up your freshwater tank with your fresh water. So inside the actual cab itself, so you've got a nice high spec in here. So on the actual door itself, you've got the electric adjusting mirrors and wipers. Not wipers, sorry. You've got the electric windows from here. You can lock and unlock the cab from these two, and your electric window mirrors, sorry, are from this one here. You have got down here on the actual dash itself, you've got your headlight adjustments from these two here. And then these three buttons here all basically just relate to the screen up here on the center screen there, and you'll be able to go through and change a few things on there. You've got your washers and wipers on the right hand stalk, your indicators and lights on the left hand stalk, and then below that we have also got the optional extra cruise control there as well. Okay, because you're on a Peugeot, you have got the standard sort of steering wheel controls here as well. So I mean, the radio is aftermarket, so I'm not 100% sure if these are all going to be working still, because obviously these were made for the original radio, but I have to have a little look at that. In the middle of the dash, we've obviously got the 6-speed manual gearbox. To select reverse, we lift up on the back just here and go over and up to the top left hand side. You've got your double din head unit just here in the middle, air conditioning from this little button here, and obviously all of your heater controls from either side of that. The hazard warning lights are from there. You can also lock and unlock the cab from here as well. You got your front and rear fog lamps, and this button on the left hand side here won't actually do anything because it's actually related to the original heated rear window, so that won't be doing anything at all now, hence because it's been taken out to turn it into a motorhome, so that one won't do anything. You've also got the reversing camera from up here. So, you know, anytime you pop it into reverse, you can have a little look on that and see how far away you are from things, which always helps. Both of these front seats will swivel round. So you've got these little handles here. When you pull on these, the seat will then swivel all the way around to wherever you want it to go to. But yeah, that's about it. So what I'll do is I will jump out, just make sure that I've not missed anything on my way around. And then I will show you through to the inside. So, first thing I want to show you is going to be where the gas is, which I'm assuming is behind the sliding door. Yes, it is. So, gas locker. Obviously, forgot to show you that when I was walking around because it's behind the door. The gas locker there, we open this up. So, actually a pretty decent sized locker. I was expecting this to be a bit smaller. You've got space in here for 2 6-kilo propane bottles if you want to have 2. Obviously, you can have the 7-kilo butanes as well if you want to. That's up to you. To turn the bottle on, we go anti-clockwise around to the left all the way until you can't go any further. And to turn it off, we go the other way, clockwise, all the way down to the bottom. You have got a 2024 dated pigtail hose here, so you've got till 29 to replace that pigtail hose. Make sure that you turn the gas off before you start driving, that's very important. But other than that, that's about it really. That's all you need to know about the gas locker. Nice and simple. I'll just leave that sort of half closed for now. Right, so in the inside of the van, as I said, we have got quite a nowadays it is a bit of an unusual layout really, with the bunk beds at the back there. That's kind of the big selling point to this particular van. You have got a ladder and some fittings just here to get up onto this second bunk. Obviously you don't need any on the bottom one. You've got some extra cushions up here, and the original carpets are all up here as well, so if you wanted to fit those back down you can. We always just take them up so we can clean the floors and stuff like that. Loads of paperwork inside this brown folder just here for this particular van, and that's about it really. So I'll show you through the control panel area, which is this sort of area up here, and then I'll show you through all the appliances and explain to you how they all work. So these control panels are very, very simple. Looks like a lot of buttons on it, but it's really not. So you've got a power switch in the middle, all right, and when you turn that power switch on just there, it essentially just allows the 12-volt power to come to life. So we can see there we've got a little green light on that now telling us that it's on. If I press the view levels button, we can then see our leisure battery voltage over here and our freshwater level. We can see our vehicle battery voltage over here and our wastewater level. We've then got cabin lights, so that's basically just all of the lights inside the van here. Okay, so that's your main sort of lights on and off switch there. Water pump switch. Now I'm not going to turn that on because I know that I've got no water in the fresh tank, but if you did have water in the fresh tank, that's where you would turn your water pump on. And then you've got your awning light, which does give you another little LED here to tell you that the awning light is on. So instead of having to open the door up and stick your head out there, you can just have a little look at that. And if this little light here at the top is on, it means that your awning light is on. If you had the electric hookup plugged in, you would have this little light here come on as well. So that's just telling you that the hookup's in and it's working. And if you want to switch between the two batteries, which I wouldn't really recommend because there's no reason to do it really, but if you wanted to switch between leisure and vehicle battery to power the back end of the van, you can press on either one of them. So the leisure battery, for obvious reasons, the leisure battery is the one we want to be powering the back end of the van, because if we started using the vehicle battery, it would just start draining out the vehicle battery and we'd then be stuck in a field somewhere because we wouldn't be able to start it. But if you wanted to switch over to the vehicle battery, you just press the vehicle battery over here, and you'll now see that the little light that was over here has now jumped over to the front. Okay, so that means that the vehicle battery is now powering the back end of the van. All right, so we can see there, this will very slowly start going down towards the red. So we want to go back over to leisure. And that is how we want to use the back end of the van. That's how we want to power things in the back of the van, because that's what the leisure battery is there for. Okay, so that's the control panel. That is honestly all there is to it. Once you've done that and you've turned your lights switch on there, you can then go ahead and go around, you know, turning things on and trying things out. Before I carry on, I will also just point out that in this particular van, you've got this little locker here, which allows you to make up this bed here. So this part here can come over and it all sort of makes up into the bed. So it's a really clever little design there. Also, obviously doubles up as additional worktop space, as you can see. But yeah, I just thought I'd point that out to you just there. Yeah, okay, so I'll carry on and show you through to here. So the kitchen area, as you can see, we have got the hot and cold tap just here. Okay, nothing to that. It's just literally a hot and cold tap. I don't have to explain that to you. You've got a 3-burner hob, so you have got an ignition just here. Okay, so the ignition is doing all 3 burners, but it's also doing the oven and grill down underneath. Now, if you want to light the grill up, you look at this right-hand one over here, push in and round to the right with the ignition, and the grill will light up. So what I just did there was I blew into it because not both sides of the grill were lit. The ignition is on the left-hand side of the grill there, so the left-hand side will always light up first, but it's really important to make sure that you light up both sides. The thermocouple, which is the thing that allows the flame to stay on, is on the other side. So if I didn't blow in there just then, when I let go of this little valve up here, the flame would have gone out. So you need to make sure that both sides of that flame are lit. And as I say, all you have to do is just blow in there just a little bit, and it'll just kind of marry it across with the oxygen. So closing this back off, just back to the middle, and just make sure that the flame has definitely gone out, which it has. And then, as I say, you go to the other way, around to the left for the oven. Now, obviously, the oven door has to be shut when you're using the oven. The grill, I would recommend leaving the oven door open. But there you go. That's all you need to know about that, really. So yeah, that's the oven and grill. Up the top here, we've got the 3-burner hob. I very rarely go into any detail with those because it's literally just like a household cooker system. It's nothing, you know, there's nothing different about it. Bit of storage in that one. So that's the kind of the cooker area there, sink. I'll pop these away now because that's, you know, pretty self-explanatory stuff, to be honest. Only thing I would say about the cooker area is that you do have to make sure that you allow these things to cool down before you put the glass lid down. Now you might be thinking, oh, well, you just put the glass lid down. But that's because I literally had it on for a few seconds. But what I mean is, if you use these for sort of half an hour or so and you're cooking with it and all that, don't put the glass lid down straight after you've turned the gas flame off. You have to allow this area to cool down a bit before you put the glass lid down. Otherwise, you will just have it explode. Basically, it'll just shatter. Right, so behind us we have got this fridge. So this is a 12-volt Waco fridge. So inside the actual fridge itself, you've got a little dial here, which will basically just allow you to change the temperature inside the fridge. So pretty much, the fridge, because it's 12 volt, it works via 12 volt power. It doesn't work on gas or mains electric like some of the 3-way fridges do. So the only thing I would say is that you have to make sure that you keep your eye on the battery voltage when you're using this. These do draw quite a lot of power when they first get started up, but the beauty behind them is that they get cold so quickly that they don't really take much time to, sorry about the noise, it doesn't really take them very long to cool down, so it doesn't really draw much power for very long. When you first switch them on, they draw a hell of a lot of power, but as I say, they take such a short amount of time to actually get cold that it doesn't really make a big difference. So this will work all the time that you're driving as well. Okay, so when the engine's running and that's also charging the leisure battery, this will all still be working, so you can leave this on all the time if you want to. But as I say, just make sure you keep your eye on that leisure battery voltage, and you know, just to allow it to, you know, just basically if it starts running too low, you just have to put the hook up in or something like that, just keep it all topped up. Above that, we've got a switch inside there, which I'm assuming is for the fridge. There you go. All right, so you need to have that switch on in there to do the to use the fridge. I didn't do the hab check on this particular van, so I wasn't, you know, I'm not 100% on everything so far, but just going as sort of explaining it as we go. I'll switch that off for now because I don't actually really need it on, to be honest, just for the video. So that is the 12-volt Waco fridge. So in the back end of the van, we have got the bathroom area. So this door here will come all the way across, okay, and it'll meet up there with a little magnetic strip. So in the actual bathroom itself, you have got a little drop-down sink. All right, with the hot and cold tap just there. You'll notice that there's no drain inside this sink. That's perfectly normal. It's just because the drains are down the back there. So you basically just slowly pour it away and it will just make its way down the back. More storage inside this little part here. The toilet, you've got a blue button on the back just here, which is your flush fluid. So when you press on that button there, you do need to have some water in the tank and the water pump switch turned on, by the way, to do this. But once you've done those two things, you can press your little blue button there and it'll start pumping around the flush fluid around to the inside of the bowl. And then when you want to drain it out into the cassette, you push this little handle to the right and then it'll open up the flap there, and everything from inside the bowl here will go down into the cassette. When you pull this back, like so, that then closes it back over and allows you to take the cassette out from outside. Shower is exactly the same as everything else. It's just literally a hot and cold tap for that. Honestly, nothing to it, and that sits up there. So, nice big sort of shower unit there. I know that obviously the toilet's there, but that is all waterproof, so it's not a big problem. And you have got the shower curtain that comes around anyway, so yeah, all really nicely thought out, I think. So I think probably one of the last things to explain is going to be the boiler system. So you've got in here, in this particular van, you've got what's called a combi boiler, a Truma combi boiler. They call it the combi because it does the heating and hot water, so it's 2 units in one basically. And this particular one is a Combi E. So you got the option on here of using it on gas or electric. So, I mean, I always try and explain these in the most simple way possible because they're really not that difficult. Some people do get explained these things in a bit of a difficult way, but it's really not. So basically, you've got 2 dials up here, okay? You've got the one on the left that says Combi E, and you've got one on the right that just says Combi. And the Combi E, the one on the left there, is your energy selector for the boiler. So this one here, it doesn't do anything to the boiler. It doesn't actually turn the boiler on or anything like that. Literally, all it does is it selects either gas or electric. Okay, that's all it does. So at the moment, we are on gas only. So that little one just there that we're next door to, that is the gas only switch. So if I was to turn the boiler on now with this little right-hand switch here, the boiler will come on and it will do it on gas only. Okay, if I wanted to switch over to electric only, I would go up once or up twice, and that's either 4 or 8 amps of electric, and that's when you're hooked up on the mains. Okay, so gas only, electric only on these 2 top ones. If I go back down to the middle and then go down 1 or down 2, that is then basically a mixture of gas and electric at the same time. So they are your options. That is the 5 options that you've got there for how the boiler works. For the time being, I don't have the electric hookup plugged in, but I do have the gas switched on in the locker. So I'm going to leave it here on gas only. Okay, so that is your energy selector on the left. That's all that one does. To the right of it, the one that just says Combi on it, this is the one that actually tells the boiler what to do. So that's the one that tells the boiler whether you want heating and hot water, or just heating or just hot water, whatever it might be. So on a day like today, it's really foggy, it's really cold, and you know, let's just say we might want to shower, we might want some hot water, but we want the heating on as well, realistically. So what we would do is we would select our energy on the left-hand one there. As I said, I've only got the gas on, and then if I wanted heating and hot water at the same time, I would then go to the bottom on this one, 1, 2, selecting the little gas symbol and the 60-degree hot water symbol, and that is now going to be heating up the water and heating the van up at the same time. So that is our heating and hot water. The next one up is heating only. Okay, and then back to the middle, turns the boiler off. If I went up 1 or up 2, that is our hot water only options, and that's either at 40 or 60 degrees. Okay, so let's just do a little example. Let's just say I have got the electric hookup plugged in, all right, but I don't have any gas. So I can only use the boiler on the hookup, and it's quite a warm day, so I don't want the heating on, but I do want some hot water for a shower. So I'd have to come to the left-hand one here that says energy, go up once or up 2 for the electric only option. And then if I only want the hot water, I would then go up 1 or up 2 on this one, and that'll be choosing 40 or 60 degrees. Now it's flashing red at me because we don't have the electric hookup plugged in. Okay, so if I go down to gas again, 1, 2, it then stops flashing at us and it'll start heating the water up. Okay, so another example, let's just say I've got the gas on, I don't have the electric hookup plugged in like I do now, and I just want the heating to come on, I don't want any hot water. I would then make sure that we were on gas only on the left hand one here, which we are, and then I would choose heating only, which is this one, and that's it. That's heating only on gas. So that is the, you know, it really is nice and easy. Once you've done that a couple of times, you'll find that really, really simple. But that is your Truma combi boiler. It does say up there as well, the LPG heater must not be in operation when the vehicle's in motion. That is very important. But to be honest, if you've got the gas switched off in the locker, you can't use anything in here anyway, apart from the fridge. So it's not the end of the world there, but just bear that in mind. You cannot use any appliances apart from the fridge whilst you're driving. The last thing that you want, I don't really like to explain this because it's not very nice, but the last thing that you want, if you were to crash in this van, or any van actually, any motorhome, if you were to crash, the very last thing that you want is 37 millibars of propane pumping into this van somewhere. You know, so that's going to make a world of trouble. If you leave the gas switched on, and, you know, to be fair, when you think about it, you've got little gas pipes going around all this van, and water pipes, all that sort of stuff. Water doesn't matter, but if a gas pipe knocks itself loose, it's a big problem. So just make sure, I mean, turning the gas off inside that locker on the outside isolates it from the whole inside of this van. So when you turn that bottle off from out there, it is out there, it's not inside this van, it's completely separate. So that's why they tend to recommend that you turn it off from inside the locker. Okay. Just one other thing to point out, so under the bed here is where you actually access the boiler. Now you've got, next to the boiler itself, you've got the water pump. All right, that's a nice new looking water pump to me. And then down here towards the front, we have got the thing that I actually want to show you. So, don't know if you can see it very well. The little yellow tab just down there basically is what I'm trying to show you. Basically, what that is your boiler drain off point. And if you wanted to drain the boiler out of all of its water, you need to put it into the position where it is now, which is facing upright. Okay, so it's facing towards the camera. When I come to use this fan and I want to get the water hot and I want to use the boiler and all that sort of stuff, I have to make sure that the boiler is actually full of water. So to do that, we lay that little tab down flat, okay, so it's horizontal rather than vertical, and then we would come to the tap in the kitchen and just draw the water through on the hot side of the tap and wait for it to come through. Essentially, what happens is, when you're doing that, as soon as you've turned that boiler drain down, so it's laying down flat, and you come to the sink over here and you use the tap, as long as you've got some water in your fresh tank, that is, by the way. But as soon as you start trying to draw the hot water through on the tap here, with the pump on, the boiler is basically just getting sent all of the water that's supposed to be coming out here. So if you've got no water coming through the tap on the hot side, then it means that the boiler isn't quite full yet. And essentially you just need to wait for the water to start coming through nice and clearly on the hot side. And as soon as it does, as soon as it starts coming through nice and clearly and you can see that it's definitely not got any air in it, then you can turn it off. The pump should turn itself off, and then you know for a fact that the whole boiler is up to, you know, it's all pressurized. That's a really important thing to remember, because if you try and light the boiler up whilst it's empty, it's going to overheat. I mean, the reason that we've emptied it out now is because it's seriously cold outside and we don't want it to freeze up. So that's what you would then do if you were doing what you call winterizing. You would drain the boiler out of all of its water, drain your fresh and waste water tanks out, and then leave the taps in the open position as well. It's quite a handy thing to do. So that's how you would winterize it. But when you come to when you come to sort of getting in the van, using it again, you need to make sure that you sort of unwinterize it, if that's even a word. You need to make sure that you unwinterize it. So you put the drain tap down, fill the tanks back up, fill your fresh water tank back up, and then draw the water through on the hot side of the tap until you start getting water coming through there. And then once you've done that, you don't have to do that again. You can just leave that as it is and then go ahead and use the boiler however you want to. Okay, so I think I've covered everything. I don't think there's anything that I've missed out, but if there is, then obviously just give us a shout and we'll go through anything with you. But yeah, otherwise we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks very much.